What's up guys, this is Jay.
This is Charles.
We are at Lacroix Adrenaline Factory today to do a little tutorial about the HyperRim and how to inflate your tire. So we will guide you through the different steps you need to do if you want to remove your wheel, put some air into it and get back on the road. So let's get down to business. Okay guys, for that we're gonna need a different tool. Well, actually you're gonna need different tool. So Charles, what are those?
So you'd like to use a 4mm Allen key. So we have it in an L-shaped format and we also have the T-shaped format. We're gonna be using the T. You might need a 3mm Allen key for Falcons. If you're lazy like Jay, you will most likely use a drill. This one already has the 4mm bit on it. You're gonna need a rubber mallet just in case that you need to pound out some of the wheels when they're stuck. And you're definitely going to need a socket wrench for your HyperRim nuts. And you're gonna definitely need a new tire, new inner hubs for those.
And maybe something to inflate it,
yeah.
Of course. Bam, let's do it. All right, Charles, so what's the first step to remove my wheel?
Okay, so we can start with the front, but we're going to remove the first nut here. It's going to be the same thing for the rear. And then after that, removing each wheel might be a little bit different depending on what you're trying to change for the tire.
Okay, let's do this. All right, first step.
First step, we're going to remove our nut from our Hyper truck. This one's pretty easy at the ends.
That's the hardest part.
And it's as easy as sliding the wheel out. And we're gonna have access to removing the 5 screws here at the top. So Jay, we're going to grab our Allen key.
Lazy way or not lazy way?
Not lazy way. So
okay.
It's a little bit different for the HyperRims because you don't want to end up stripping anything. So doing anything too quick on a drill can cause some unthreading. So it's better to do it by hand, do it slowly so that it's done once and then you don't destroy your HyperRims.
Perfect. All right.
Okay, so now we're able to access the tire. The first thing we need to do is we need to pull out the HyperRims apart. So it is 2 pieces. So you're going to have to give it a little bit of force here. It might be hard the first time around.
Yeah, this part is always tricky. It's no fun. There you go.
Easy as that. So we're gonna take out our wheel bearing spacer.
Any parts. Obviously.
And there we go. Now we have access to our tire and we can start changing out to the new valve. So at this point you can remove your old inner tube and you can replace it with the newer one. You plug it right in just like that. Okay, we're gonna have to cut a little bit here, okay.
So Charles, before putting back the HyperRim, should I put a little bit of air in the tube or should I wait?
Yeah, so you should be putting a little bit of air in the tube because if it is flat, it's very possible that it will pinch when you put the HyperRims together. So it's best that you pump it just a little bit so it expands towards the insides of the tire.
Just a little bit.
So we're gonna pump up the tire just a little bit. I'm gonna pump it up to maybe 15 psi. I'm gonna attach that in.
We're lazy too on that. Easy like that.
Okay, so I have my inner tube all ready to go. And I'm going to grab my hubs and I'm going to start assembling it together. So remember that it's 2 pieces, but it also has a way of going back together. You have to make sure that the valve is going to end up going inside with each other. So we're going to grab it. I'm going to start with the back because that's the easiest to put in. And then I'm going to start lining things up.
Don't forget that piece.
Don't forget the piece. Don't forget your wheel spacers like I do. So I'm going to assemble it and then I'm going to make sure that it's aligned properly. And then here at this point I can kind of open it and close it just a little bit, just to make sure that there's nothing that is pinched with the inner tube. So I know it's not pinching. And now I'm gonna start putting in my screws. Good way of doing it is starting with one side and then doing it at the polar opposite if you can. And then after, you can start doing the rest of the screws and tightening those down.
All right, that was the longest part. Now time to put it back on it and of course inflate it.
Okay, so make sure that our valve is here on the inside for our rims.
What's the PSI we should usually put in a tire?
So for this tire and for most of our Clever tires, we're going to put it at about 33 PSI.
All right, it all depends on the kind of riding you want to do.
Okay.
Obviously, if you want to do like high speed, you need to make sure that your tire is super hard. If you want to do a little bit more of a carving session, you can inflate it just a little bit. Okay, time to put it back. Okay. Before putting it back, you can also put a little bit of blue Loctite to make sure it doesn't pop out.
So I'm gonna put in the wheel first so that it doesn't disturb the whole Loctiting here at the very end. I'm gonna put that in.
Perfect.
You're gonna thread, put on the threads.
A little bit of Loctite.
Cool.
Perfect.
You're gonna grab your HyperRim nut and you are going to put that right back. I'm gonna grab my 19mm socket wrench here and finish it off. Make sure it's tight.
Super tight.
And it's good to go, replaced.
All right, first one done. Time to do the back one because it's a little bit different, but not that much. So, all right, let's flip the board and get down to the back wheel. Obviously, depending on if you have the Falcon gear drive system or the self-adjusting belt drive system, it's not the same pulley. So Charles, what's the main difference between those two?
Okay, so the main difference is that there's an extra 5 screws for the Falcons. So before you even try to take out your wheel from your board, you're gonna have to go in and hit these M3 screws. So there's 5 of them that secure it to the POM. And after you're done with that, you're gonna grab your white mallet over here. You're gonna try and knock it out of the pulley because it is seated with the pegs. And then once that's out, you're going to grab your 4mm Allen key and you're going to undo these 5 screws. It's the same thing again with the self-adjusting belt drive. It's 5 screws and the only extra piece that you have is going to be your 72T pulley.
Exactly. And if you're not sure on how after that to put back your belt, well, you can watch the previous tutorial we did about maintenance where we show how to adjust your self-adjusting belt system. So it's pretty simple, but if you forgot how to do it, well, just go check the maintenance tutorial. Okay guys, as you already know, we got 2 different kind of HyperRim. We got the GroupB and we got the Lemans. Charles, want to say a little word about that?
Yeah, so the HyperRims have inward facing valves. It's the only way that it's easy to manage to get your tires pumped that way. Otherwise, for the GroupBs, you can't do it on the outward side. The HyperRims Lemans, you're able to switch the valve and have it go into the small little slotted part here. You might need a little extension piece so that you can make it face outwards and be able to still pump your tires.
All right guys, so you finally got your new tube, maybe a new tire too, why not? So you're good to go. If you still have a few questions, please leave it in the comments and we'll try to answer it. Otherwise, grab your board, go outside and have a nice ride.
Ride safe.
Cheers guys.
Yeah.